Greetings and welcome to My Dear Cancer. This is Ron from Tarot of the Twin Sun. Tarot of the Twin Sun is a functional division within the Order of the Twin Sun. I welcome you to the channel. If you are new, please subscribe or like or dislike to your liking. And be honest, I do appreciate your feedback as well as your comments. Yeah, so we shall work with the energy of the fourth house, the great emotional body, as well as tendencies for the modern or postmodern body to be separate, or disunified with that emotional side. There's a tendency for motherhood as well as a tendency for motherhood to be um, inseparable with the creations that motherhood opens the gateway for. And that is the mystery of the triplicity of the water houses for 8-12, moving more into dissolution through intensified polarities found through the 8th and 12th houses. um, Today we shall be working with the three portals, which is a myriad of tools that focuses on timeless and spaceless, um, perhaps iterations of things that may occur for the energy of Cancer in the month of January 2021. These all do not have to resonate, but take what you will from each portal, and use with discretion in terms of guidance. These are brought from the light. The moon should be rather intense, considering yesterday's new moon elicits at least a gateway to the 7th house for you, the new moon in Capricorn. Okay, so the moon activating essentially a sense of the other, this being a common motif for most cancers, or at least cancers that have the affinity towards the moon. We'll go ahead and get started. I'm working from the 1983 deck, and I'll shift decks. The first portal is now opening. Excuse me. Pardon. Okay, there's an element of numbness here that serves as a challenge. This has to do with the first portal is open. This has to do with a sense of bringing about that which you need, that which you desire. There could be familiars around you, meaning that people that who are supportive of your desires. And these people serve as informing you as to what those really are. They also serve as a gateway into the sixth sense, and this being very heightened in a certain way. Okay. There's a situation here from the past that is trying to make itself known. It could be something you've left in the past in terms of a relationship or a project, something that you've buried. It trying to resurface. Um, and there's something about you that is on the precipice of good or bad judgment, critical discernment. This also could be a past version of you that has died out, a shadow that is trying to make itself known in some sort of way, in a situation. But there is a possibility that your hands are tied or let down, it shifting, and the different parts of you sort of not really not really reciprocating in a certain way when it comes to the resurgence or the regeneration of something that has already passed or passed on, has already died out in some sort of way. This also has to do with the formulation of a philosophy that results around the locus or the energetic sort of ambiance of your situation, which can have to do with isolation and alienation, being alone in some sort of way or some sort of path. You trying to situate yourself, um, where this is coming from is an element of maturity, you coming into the mother spirit as opposed to having to deal with modes of, I would say, mm, separation or distance from that which is more of a deeper and inner knowing, an inner understanding. Calling to mind this card in particular here, Death in Reverse. And this death has a particular difference from most of the major other major arcana in that there is a rod here, as opposed to a reaping. There is a rod and a flag that is in reverse. If you can see it, flag. Actually, that's a reaper. Um, okay, decapitated people. Very dark death card there. The Once again, there's some sort of resurgence or reanimation of things. Could be that there are many modes or heads talking around you, talking heads, but then the words that are coming out are cryptic or not informative enough for you to make that clear and solid decision as you remain in isolation of some sort. There is a movement here towards hard work that has to do with keeping things in the cycle, or keeping things or reviving things in a cycle. And this cycle trying to revive itself is taxing for you, considering you've already matured or you're trying to mature. Excuse me. There's something very unconscious about this reading that has to do with you making proper boundaries but not being able to set them properly. Society and the expectations of society coming in heavy and causing for you a sense of numbness overall, numbness being a motif here. You are on the Aquarian path, okay, with the Hanged Man here. The Aquarian path, that which is Saturnian, that which is Saturnine, that which is constituting a sense of realism, a sense of hard work towards something. Very soon there will be an intuition or a sensibility that you are garnering, that you're growing, that will become part of your core philosophy that have to do with things that have already passed in terms of the movement and the progression of Aquarian ideals, Uranian ideals. Okay, this is a very common motif for a lot of people right now, which is unexpected. Okay, unexpected changes that have already occurred that you're realizing now have occurred, that are now like sort of resurfacing as in terms of their cycle is about to reoccur. But these cycles are more or less done for you, and you've gone through enough of that. hmm That is what I'm seeing for the first portal. We're going to switch decks. That was a very dark reading. But that is the job of essentially the Reaper as well, the Queen of Frauds, is essentially to bring in a sense of the self, the mystery of the 5 and the 9 evolving out of the 8 of the reaping. Okay, so usually after some sort of death ritual, there is an expansive quality, something that gestates in a cycle that begins again. That is essentially what you're going through, maybe going through, that is. We will switch over to an old deck. This is from 1890. Second portal's closed. First portal's closed. Second portal's now opening. Once again, a bit more of the Aquarian ideal here. This second portal is actually a mirror, and it is designed to pull in a bit of the energy of the other. Okay. And this is showing up again. There's a feeling of hope that emerges by the withdrawal, the detachment of things, the elevation of the mind, okay? That has to do with also the great mystery of dissolution and really imbibing in things that, or things that are very open and mutable, very much based on sort of a fixed mutability here. We have the Hanged Man as well as the Seven of Swords, meaning that there's a clear presence of mind, a premeditation that has to do with expertise, that has to do with hope as well as cunning, wit. There's something about you that is understanding the motivation of certain human ideals that is emerging out of this situation. A lesson here, a lesson. Excuse me. And it seems to me that the more you take from this situation in terms of a lesson on a very deep level, this has to do with the expansion of the mind and expanding the mind as you take from this person, place, or thing on a fundamental level after merging with them in terms of their mind space. There's something about the separation that brings about an idealism, you forming a type of rebellion against the situation, you forming a type of single-mindedness that has to do with your own embracing of the monstrosity of the situation, of essentially you being perceived as someone who who is a natural in some way, okay? And I mean that, I don't mean that as very negative, okay? I mean that as a positive thing. There's something about you that is on the growth cycle that has to do with the maturation process that leads in a Uranian way away from anything Saturnine, okay? This person, whomever you're dealing with, they reflect you in terms of the seventh house axis here with the elements of devotion, silent devotion, the ability to be very traditional in some sort of way. At the same time, they can be androgynous on a soul level. They've fused with you in some sort of way, but as they move away, excuse me, there's something that they've learned. There's something that they've learned in a mercurial way, meaning that their thoughts are geared towards movement. There's something about them also breaking free from a strict way of doing things on an emotional level as well as on the level of security, okay? Because of this, they are learning from you how to make a choice, how to be informed by intuitive impulses. They're also learning from you how to disconnect in some sort of way, and that's what they seem to want to do. At the same time, there is an element of disparity. There's something about communication that you want to convey, but inertly, there's something also about you that is not willing to participate in a sort of committed way. There's a very flighty sort of intellectual capacity about you. Because of such, you're bringing in a sense of dualism, a sense of being separated, but then also in the middle of things. You're not. You may not be able to truly convey to them a sense of realism. There's an effort here that is based around inaction and sort of really reckoning what you should do next, what you should complete next in terms of the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. So, in essence, there's an element of action and inaction. You may be very much activated by the Chariot's energy, but not being able to harness both horses, and one horse leading astray, the other, leading the straight and narrow. But the one that wants to move forward is the one that wants to make communication, but then there is a lot of sort of questioning. I think you've already made the choice, though, because the Two of Pentacles it emerges out of these two, the Page as well as the Knight, and in reverse, it would suggest that there is a fixed static point, a nodal point, The mind wants to move over to this connection. The emotions from them want to be grounded in you in some sort of way. There's a secret devotion about this person, place, or thing. Now, what is emerging out of this is a sense of healing through detachment, healing through a period of waiting, but this is taking too long. So a part of you and a part of them, especially them onto you, is healing your mind in some sort of way. That is a possibility. Okay, but that's the thing, because both of you have a very strong tendency towards conservative or perhaps cardinal movements towards each other. These are being challenged by the energy of Aquarius, the fixed nature of Aquarius, in which there is usually their way, because that's the sort of sign of the times. Okay, but that is a mutual thing. Both of you are wanting to have your way in the situation. Excuse me. You have to excuse me. I'm getting over a fit of allergies. So we shall move over to the last portal. This one revolving around, I would say, a bit more philosophical bent. Let's see. Yeah. What you are devoted to in philosophy, what would help you progress in terms of the higher mind. Once again, there's that Knight of Swords. Fairly interesting. Okay, the challenge is rigidity. Okay, the challenge is, I mean, rigidity has its functions. It can work as like a gear in a machine. That's rigid. That's something that has ridges, and it would function well. But at the same time, there's something about this that can be called calculating, as opposed to ingenious, or something of ingenuity in terms of engineering. There's something about your mind here that has to do with some fixed principles that are based on calculation, being the stepping stone towards what? Towards your true nature. And this came up in a vision earlier, the Eight of Cups. Um, in traditional Rider-Waite, it's a red hooded cloaked figure moving away with an ace of rods, being going on some sort of sojourn or a journey in the night, informed by the moon. Okay, this talks about departure of ways that seem traditional or motif in terms of romance, in terms of offering, in terms of the infancy of romance, the renaissance of romance, the sort of juvenile nature of romance. There's a movement here that has to do with the evolution of certain types of thoughts that may be dualistic in nature. You coming up and rising into some sort of power, but then this power being sort of double-edged in some sort of way. You can end up cutting out that which, excuse me, that which may seem excessive in some sort of way. You could be cutting out something in terms of a situation of love, or a person, or perhaps a part of yourself. I have a feeling that as you do this, there's an element of cutting out your own heart and trying to understand its nature as a tool for your desires, for your movement, your understanding of where you're going. There's an element of detachment from the past here that has to do with something that was not fulfilling in some sort of way. As you mature with this information, you may see a hand of self-sabotage within it, but it's necessary because there is a type of relapse that may occur in the future, or in the past, or in the current state, that has to do with the understanding of experience and becoming a wise master of the understanding of experience. But there is a detached nature to you that is informed by Edemechia, the hermit, as well as the development of philosophies that come through letting go of one's emotional body, and this serving as a feeling of self-defeat or self-deprecation. But it's just a suggestion. It doesn't have to be so. There is something that you have to tend to in the near future that is quite urgent, that has to do with unfinished business as well. Something that you have to work in terms of karma that has to do with rebellious tendencies of the natural flow or the cardinal information, the cardinal ways of being from past situations that you have brought in. Cardinal being Cancer being a cardinal sign. Okay, the idea here is to search for the cardinal of cardinals, which is the element of fire, the sacred fire, that is elicited through the energy of Edemechia, which is the staff of Moses as well, the staff that the Eight of Cups has, which is also a bit of the staff of Moses. But let's not walk the path of Moses. That guy had a really rough life, and he never really found the Holy Land. He did, but he never entered it. That's the thing. So perhaps you should glean what you can from the situation. Know that experience is going to be your teacher. Look to the energy of Mercury as well as the moon to inform you. Okay, and that is communications as well as it's the 3 4. So like really trying to ground yourself in your immediate environment. People will inform you. Around you will inform you on your path. Those are the 3 portals. Hopefully that is informative for you, my dear Cancer. Um, Also check out the other videos for other placements, and yeah, if you would like a private reading, I am available. I can go very deep into your situation. Please take care now. Bye.